With departures from promotions and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Touching on WWE's plans for airing NXT during the Olympics, Ringside News wrote, professional giants like WWE and AEW constantly compete for supremacy, with major sports airing weekly. However, 2024 stands out as a particularly significant year for sports. The upcoming Olympic Games in Paris, France are expected to similarly disrupt wrestling fans' viewing habits, much like the Winter Games in Beijing did in 2022. The 2024 Olympic Games will commence on July 26th and air across various NBC Universal stations until the closing ceremony on August 11th. As a result, WWE will need to relocate two of their weekly shows, Raw and NXT, for 2 weeks. According to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, both shows will temporarily air on Sci-Fi during the Olympics, as USA Network will be occupied with Olympic coverage. Specifically, the affected episodes are the July 26th and August 6th episodes of the flagship show Raw, and the July 30th and August 7th episodes of their developmental brand NXT. Moreover, wrestling fans will need to adjust to watching WWE programming on different networks in the coming months, as all three of WWE's main TV shows will be transitioning to new media rights deals. With it having been said that Natalya's deal with WWE is coming to a close in the near future, an update was provided as Ringside News noted that Natalya's current deal with WWE is set to expire soon, and despite being offered a new contract, she has yet to sign it. Reports as early as April indicated that the former WWE SmackDown Women's Champion is nearing the end of her contract. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that there is nothing new to report regarding Natalya's WWE contract situation. Her deal is still set to expire sometime in the summer. Former Executive Vice President of Talent Dan Ventrell has been previously blamed as a likely reason why Natalya and many other WWE stars reached the end of their deals without new negotiations. Going over WWE's plans to establish a foothold in Mexico, Ringside News noted that, according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is showing significant interest in establishing a stronger presence in Mexico. Although this initiative has not yet materialized, one potential idea involves collaborating with UFC, which operates its Performance Institute in Mexico City. The plan would be to develop Mexican fighters and potentially expand this initiative to include professional wrestlers. This approach aims to attract aspiring wrestlers who may consider training at CMLL or other schools, providing them with a direct path into WWE without the need to spend extensive time in Mexico or establish themselves on the independent circuit in the United States. We also reported that WWE is interested in creating alliances with Mexican and Puerto Rican promotions. In fact, WWE's live event scheduled for July 13th and July 14th in Mexico City and Monterrey, so they are clearly working towards that goal in mind. Sharing her feelings towards the possibility of WWE introducing a Women's United States and Intercontinental title, Chelsea Green said this on The Masked Man show. Well, first of all, I don't know that it's been confirmed because I don't know it, Green reacted to reports of WWE discussing secondary women's titles for main roster. I only saw it on the internet. Whatever you guys are reading, I'm also reading too. I mean, of course, I'm hoping and praying that that's true, because any more kind of spotlights that the women can get would be amazing. I do think it's long overdue. Again, it's just another step in the right direction. I didn't even think this could happen 2 years ago, and then now I'm like, yeah, of course it's happening. It has to happen now that it's on the internet. We need this to happen. Obviously, I think it would be amazing to showcase the women that could be the champions in the future, but maybe we don't see them in that light right now. Maybe we see them as kind of floaters, or maybe they haven't locked down their characters. Maybe they're a funny girl. Maybe me. There's all these women that I just feel like we have so much talent and we're not able to showcase it all the time, and so putting another title in the mix I think would just up the ante for that kind of mid-level girl who we know we can elevate them, we know they can get there. But maybe the fans don't believe in them yet. Maybe they need that championship to showcase it. They can really lead a division. I think if this comes to fruition, this will be a game changer for the women's locker room on Raw and SmackDown. Mentioning the injury that has led to Adam Cole being sidelined from AEW, president of the company, Tony Khan, said this to Sports Grid: "He's one of our top stars. We love Adam Cole in AEW. I think the injury really affected us in a number of ways. First of all, you're losing a great star off the TV show. Somebody the fans always want to see anytime they can be in AEW. Like you said, he was involved in one of the top stories in all of wrestling. For us, it was a main event at Wembley Stadium. It was huge. MJF versus Adam Cole and their partnership, their friendship. It was a must-see part of AEW show every week. When Adam Cole got hurt, it really changed things for us. We had to go in a different direction with a lot of things on the show. It was compounded by the fact that that same night, Jon Moxley was injured. Really, the top two programs, I think unquestionably at the time, had to be Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy and MJF versus Adam Cole. With MJF and Adam Cole in the World Championship match at Wembley, and then their partnership and Samoa Joe getting involved, we had this fascinating dynamic with MJF, Samoa Joe, and Adam Cole. That was our main event story. To lose top people, top wrestlers like Adam Cole and Jon Moxley out of the World Championship match and the International Championship match at the same night, on the same night, that was really hard. We had to change a lot of things, and I was really proud of the pay-per-view we put on a couple of weeks later, Wrestle Dream, the first ever Wrestle Dream. It was an amazing show, and it happened in the shadow of Mox getting hurt, and of course Adam Cole having that injury. With Adam Cole out, it changed a lot of things. He's on the road to recovery. He will be back, and I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to have Adam Cole back in AEW. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. The fans love Adam Cole, and there's a lot of history left to be written for Adam Cole in AEW. He's had some great runs here, and unfortunately, injuries have slowed him down a couple of times now. It's a real credit to him, and I think to AEW, because some people maybe thought Adam Cole would never get as hot as he was 3 years ago, and he came in last year and he was hotter than he's ever been in his entire career. It was a complete freak accident injury. He will be back, and we have great plans and a great future for Adam Cole. Giving his perspective on the Wyatt 6 faction in WWE, 2024 King of the Ring tournament winner Gunther told Gorilla Position, "First of all, everything, it's not just wrestling. It's also movies, like the genre. Everything that has to do with spooky stuff or ghosts or supernatural, that's not my taste at all. I'm more documentary guy. I love history, and I like movies about a topic or happenings that really happened. So it's hard to judge when it's not your taste, but by the reactions of our audience, obviously there's a big interest in it. I feel like the big challenge is always getting that in the ring and keep the mysterious aura around it, but also making it work. But I haven't paid too much attention to it right now, how it's handled. But I would think if there's somebody that can make it work and have the right dose of the spooky stuff, and then the guys still being real people, I think Hunter will have a good hand on that, on managing that. I wish for it to be a success, so let's see. I'm very interested how it's gonna play out." In that same interview, Gunther had this to say regarding his upcoming match at SummerSlam against World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest. "I heard that too. People were like, why is Seth Rollins not involved? Why is Drew McIntyre not involved? Why is CM Punk not involved?" On the other hand, it's the same people that would complain that there are no new stars built. There's no opportunities for other people than the usual ones. And I feel going into a match with Priest, second or third biggest premium live event in the company, it's just a testament for management right now, how it's important to them to feature new faces in those big roles and situations. And now it's up to both of us to step up to it. Also, Gunther spoke about Ludwig Kaiser taking part in one-on-one matches on Raw, telling Gorilla Position, "I think it's important now that, yeah, he does things on his own. It's important because, obviously, we'll always have that bond and stick together when it's necessary. That won't change, but that also doesn't mean we always have to be seen together every minute on television. I think everybody's aware that there's a connection, and there's no reason to assume that it's not there anymore. I've always been big about handling my matches myself without wanting or needing help, and he's going to do the same now. I think that's a very good experience to make and a very good path to follow. And yes, if things get dangerous or difficult for me or for him, we always know we can rely on each other." Recalling his time as Shorty G in WWE, Chad Gable had this to say to Peter Rosenberg on Cheap Heat: "If you want to say the Shorty G period, where I would consider that one of my low periods, that was a rough one to get through. It's a rough one to kind of bridge the gap and say I can do this one too. I can make it through this one because sometimes it doesn't seem like there's light at the end of the tunnel. I have a wife and kids that can kind of level me out when those things happen and put things in perspective. I think that's the whole key to it all, is just perspective." For details on two recent departures from the NWA, Ringside News wrote that the pro wrestling world is always changing and the NWA is no different. In recent memory, two more stars have left the company, and we now know a bit more about their situation. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select spoke to former tag team champion Missa Kate and former junior heavyweight champion Joe Alonzo about their departure from the National Wrestling Alliance and their future plans. Missa Kate revealed that she stopped getting invites to NWA tapings earlier this year and anticipated her departure at the end of her contract. She believes she left on positive terms and expressed appreciation for everything she learned at NWA. Kate also expressed excitement for her former tag team partner, Ren Sinclair, who signed with NXT, and she hopes they can reunite in the future. She mentioned having conversations with a few other companies, but was restricted from doing AEW extra work or pursuing opportunities in Japan or Canada due to her NWA deal. Joe Alonzo revealed that he was offered an 18-month contract with NWA, but felt the financial terms did not reflect his contributions to the company. He stated that he couldn't afford to live on what NWA was offering and was told some people don't have a couch to sleep on, which influenced his decision to leave. Alonzo has been able to do extra work in AEW, including matches against Cody Rhodes, as well as in WWE against Gunther. When it comes to the partnership between Ric Flair and his energy drink in AEW, Dave Meltzer said this in the Wrestling Observer newsletter: "Those who have pointed out no Woo energy graphics on the screen of late, that is a smart observation, and unless something changes, it doesn't look like you'll be seeing that going forward. There was no explanation given, but unless something changes, it does look like that deal is over with." Going over Brock Lesnar's status for being on Raw when it comes to Netflix, as Lesnar has not been seen on WWE programming since he was implicated in the sex trafficking lawsuit against WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis. The Wrestling Observer newsletter said, WWE looks very strong with the Netflix transition since Johnson will be back for WrestleMania. With Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns will be back, as will Cena. The only question mark of the stars of that era would be Lesnar, based on the legal issues, and perhaps Undertaker, who likely wouldn't wrestle, but would also likely do something early in the Netflix run. After undergoing surgery for his diverticulitis in May, an update on Kenny Omega was provided, with Ringside News writing, according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Kenny Omega is doing better, and despite him not having a set date for his return, there is a prevailing sentiment that his career is not over. Currently, Omega is not cleared for any training. Omega also hinted at potential reinvention of his persona upon his return to the ring, indicating a desire for change in his gimmick. Revealing what it would take for her to attend a UFC event, Ronda Rousey told CBS Sports, "I'd rather be out and on my farm or on the beach or something else like that. I think I'll need to have a reason to go. I don't know if my kids end up fighting or something like that, or someone I end up coaching ends up fighting. I would go, but I don't know. It's not really my scene anymore. When I was younger, I wanted to put on a hot dress and go to the fights and hang out with everybody. Now I'm just an old lady who wants to sit at home and sip tea. Plus, I wouldn't want to go just to like, oh, I wonder how people will react to me. I would want to have a reason to go, but we'll see. I'll play it by ear. If my kids want to fight, they would be absolutely incredible. That's how my mom got dragged back into judo. She quit judo and then she never went to a tournament again. Then I got into it and she was very much involved again. So if my kids from my dojo end up getting into it, then I would have a reason." As John Cena is set to go on a retirement tour in WWE, it seems plans are already being discussed, with it said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that nothing is for sure as far as opponents, and he's discussing who he would like to work with. There is a tentative schedule, including major arenas and overseas dates. Confirming her departure from AEW, CJ Perry told USA Today, "My time with them has just finished. I'm really focused on finding talent and cultivating them and helping them become the best wrestler champion possible. I guess you could say I want to be the Paul Heyman," Ringside News added. CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, confirmed that her time with All Elite Wrestling had concluded. Before departure, she was not expected to return or be factored into creative plans. Sean Ross Sapp reported on Fightful Select that AEW confirmed Perry was part of the April set of releases. Although she initially joined the company on a per-appearance deal, she eventually signed a contract. In April, AEW also released several other talents, including Stu Grayson, Dasha Kurat, Anthony Henry, The Boys, Tora Joel, Slim J, Gravity, Parker Boudreaux, and Jose the Assistant. Perry's AEW run was hampered by injuries to both herself and her on-screen clients. Additionally, she also split up with her husband Miro during that time, leading to unfortunate booking decisions and significant screen absences. She missed a ton of time after an injection in her finger that she received backstage at AEW landed her in the hospital. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.